Netflix Sneakerheads series. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on everyone? Rolo Tornado Jr., dunksrnice, and today's video on DRN Reacts, we're going to be talking about the Netflix series Sneakerheads. So before I jump into the actual reaction, my thoughts onto it, the whole Netflix series, the Canon mug that some of you guys were talking about in the previous react, I'll put a link down below in the description. This isn't a sponsored post or anything. For those who are interested, curious, a link will be down below in the description. Before I go ahead and start anything, I want to go ahead and address this first, that this is your spoiler warning. So if you haven't seen this or haven't watched it just yet, this is a spoiler warning for those who do still want to watch it. So I'll go ahead and put that out there. I only saw the first episode. I'm only going to be talking about reaction only on the first episode of this TV series from Netflix, but my thoughts and everything will be towards the end of this video. I'll be mainly focusing on certain aspects that I felt were true, legit, false. They're either over exaggerated, portrayed in a different way, the representation of like a sneakerhead, not so much a scene by scene, because I feel that you can go in and watch it and put your own opinion, but this is my opinion on the whole like Sneakerheads TV series from Netflix, so I'll be mainly doing that rather than scene by scene. So as an introduction for the TV series, you have sneakers like Jordans, Nikes, Babes, Adidas, and so forth on. It's going in a transitional panning movement, so as the shoe goes from left to right in a swinging motion, the camera follows it and pans it, and I think that's a really great introduction as it's following it to get that attention grabber. And then I believe it follows into and then it jumps into a pair of Toms as the final shoe shot, and then it jumps into the main character Devin. You know, he's married with 2 kids, I believe, and he's a stay-at-home dad. And then this jumps into the trailer, which was released on September 10th, where Devin and his wife Christine are talking about his old habits, Devin's old habits about being a sneakerhead. And then it pans onto the computer screen where it shows the 2016 Air Jordan 4, the white cements. In this particular scene, Devin, he heads to a sneaker consignment spot, which I'd say it looks like Flight Club or one of those consignment shops in the Netflix series for probably like copyright reason or logistic reasons or whatever. It's called Unbeaten, which is pretty, I guess, clever, you would say. Anybody who's ever visited LA where Flight Club is located knows this kind of looks very similar, and they can testify to that. Devin's been out of the shoe game for, I believe, about 5 years or so, and you know, he goes to the shop Unbeaten, then he gets familiar with it. But as he goes to the front, the security guard tells him, hey, it's a hyper strike, the line's around the corner. And as he starts walking around the corner, the line wraps around the block. And this is very true to a certain extent, depending on what's being released, if it's very common or if it's a first come first serve. This is actually a very true statement, but it really depends on what's releasing. While Devin waits in line for his shoes, Bobby, who's also played by Andrew Bachelor, or better known as King Batch, as some of you might know, he notices Devin. And I did also want to point out Bobby is actually wearing a pair of Air Max Paras, the 2018 version. Besides that, it's a very nice looking shoe. The two end up chopping it up for a bit, and then they walk towards the front of the line, and then Bobby pays the young kid in line for the spot. So this indeed is accurate. People are paid in line just to wait to get to the product, just so you don't have to. This is something that would have been done more secretive. Not so much like in front of the people around you, but pretty much more secretive. But that part I would say is pretty accurate. One scene in particular that I thought was pretty funny was that the female character named Nori, who is portrayed as like this top-notch reseller, comes out the store out of Unbeaten, and then she cops 2 pairs of the white cement 4s, whereas Bobby sees her, then approaches her, talks to her about the 4s, and then Nori tells Bobby that the price is $450, but then Bobby responds back saying, but retail's $220, and Nori replies back, then buy them retail. You know, I thought that was pretty funny, because if you couldn't get it on the day of the release, then more than likely you gotta find outsources or a source such as reselling. So I thought that was pretty funny. Moments after that scene with Nori and Bobby, you see this nice Mercedes-Benz pull up, the G-Wagon, it pulls up, and out comes this Asian character whose name is, I believe, Cole. So Cole, he goes straight up to the front door and meets up with one of the employees, pays cash, and cops Adidas Boost sneakers. So I'm not too sure about this. So this for sure, it wouldn't fly. Nah, this wouldn't fly. And some parts of this is true and some parts of it is false. It's true because you have some people backdooring for like certain pairs. We all kind of noticed already. This is nothing new. In this seed, you pretty much see that. And also, they wouldn't show face. They'll do this type of agreement, this business elsewhere, not in front of the store, especially with the employee, because this just doesn't make sense. More than likely, you'll probably lose your account, but I guess since Unbeaten is a consignment store, I guess, then it kind of makes sense. But yeah, this stuff wouldn't really fly in front of the store, especially with the employee and the people around there. So that wouldn't fly with me. And I also like to add that the character Cole was being played by, like, his attitude overall, the way they portrayed him. He was like this big time baller. He gives this persona of this, he's like a jerk. I don't give a to anyone. People don't really act that way. I felt that was really over exaggerated into this series, and it was just really a big turnoff for me. So some parts of this is true, some parts of it isn't true, but the way they portrayed Cole, the Asian character, there's people that don't really act like that, well, from like my experience, but nah, that was a really big turnoff for me. This Asian kid, man, I hate him. I hate him.
So you're the only one who knows, huh? Okay, look, before you say something you regret, I'm equally as upset as you are.
In another scene later, Bobby convinces Devin to go to the sneaker auction that was really secretive, but only to find out it wasn't. So some people showed up, but the other two characters, Nori and Cole there. Nori being this big time reseller, again, it's being portrayed and making it seem like all resellers are assholes when in reality, they're not. It kind of really annoyed me in some ways. It's representing resellers and giving them a bad name, you could say. It just wasn't flying with me. Now, most resellers, in other words, that I know that I've dealt with, they don't act like this. And to me, this was definitely not a good look. And for myself, resellers are more than likely really nice and good people, and definitely they're the plugs. This definitely, in my book, very falsely. Also, that particular scene of the sneaker auction with Devin and Bobby ended up winning some really good gems in there. Now, I've never been to an actual stored auction, and I can't confirm or deny if this is true, but from what I've seen on TV, you know, popular TV shows as Storage Wars, I guess you can say it's legit. Again, let me know if you've been to an auction or something very similar to this, if it's legit or if it's over exaggerated. To me, I would really like to know that, so comment that down below in the comment section. The way that Netflix is representing us as sneakerheads, those who like sneakers are being represented in a wrong way, and it was really a big turnoff to me that saying like it's a hit or miss. Well, this is a miss for me for sure. It's a no for me. The way they dictate everything, you know, there's other such things as the way it was filmed, the way it was edited, the plot, the acting. That's another thing. I'm not jumping into so much that, it's just certain things that maybe I'm nitpicking on. Now, there are some that will actually enjoy this series, you know, actually some that will actually really like this. Of course, you can go and do that, but this is just me. I'm just one person. This is one opinion out of thousands and thousands. Do want to go and ask you as the viewer, the audience, if I should go on and give this another shot and continue watching it, or just simply stick with my decision and just forget about it. But to end this video, I am drinking tea, obviously, but in the first reaction video, it was actually coffee in the mug and not alcohol, so I did see that comment as well. But I did want to go in and thank you for watching De'Aaron Reacts. Let me know if you guys want me to react or talk about anything else, and leave that in the comment section. I would really like to thank Nick Priot. He actually gave me this idea to talk to, so shout out to Nick for this. I really appreciate it, and thank you. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, and until then, it's gonna be good. Yay!